Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 7th of May 2022. Just a quick bit of news before I move on to my main chat, and this is from Australia. It's sort of good old desperate Dan Andrews, and apparently in whichever state, Australian state it is that he's Premier of. I think it's either Victoria or New South Wales, can't remember which one, but he has introduced and they are passing something called the Agriculture Legislation Amendment Bill 2022, and basically it's going to stop you from growing your own vegetables. So in whatever Australian state it is, they are literally passing a law which is going to ban private people from growing their own veg, their own food. So not 100% sure yet if that is actually what this law means. It might be that someone's got the wrong end of the stick and it's only going to be banning it if you're doing it on a large scale somehow rather than just for your own family. I've got no idea, but if it is an outright ban, and it is, well, you've got to ask yourself why, and I'll let you, leave it to you to work that one out. But can you imagine, as you know, as I've talked about, I'm starting to grow just a few bits and pieces out there myself, and if this thing spreads, it could literally mean that in a year's time, 2 years' time, I might be in prison. And just imagine the scene. I'll be there chatting with some of the other inmates, and the conversation will go along something along the lines of, what are you in for? Oh, armed robbery, mate. How about you? Manslaughter and bit of fraud as well. How about you, mate? Growing a few carrots? And could this world get any more crazy? Anyhow, I was down at my local, I say stand in the park, it was sit in the pub, which we do on Thursday nights, and I was talking to a few guys, and one guy came in and he said, do you know you've been on the sort of Mark Devlin show? And I'm like, hey, no, I'm not aware of that. And anyway, he sent me a link to the video and I went along, and it's true, yours truly has been mentioned on a Mark Devlin show. And what it relates to is I do this kind of monthly newsletter that I send out to my email subscribers. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. But he actually read out a fairly large chunk of it as well in his show. It's his show that he did on the 4th of May, but I'll leave some kind of link to it. It's in the description box below. I'll probably have to put it on my website and then just leave a link to my website in the description box. I probably won't be able to link to it directly. I've got no idea how I came to his attention, how he got my email. I wouldn't have thought he's actually subscribed to my email newsletter. So all I can think of is it must be one of you guys who sent a copy of it through to him. So if that's you, thank you very much. One thing he was talking about in this show, bit before he came on to my newsletter, was how he's becoming more and more spiritual. And he came out with this story. I think he was in Scotland some time ago, and a certain song came into his head just as he was walking about, and then he goes into this shop, and what happens to be playing on the shop's music system? Yeah, the very same tune that he had in his head, and it's not even a current tune, it's from way back in the 80s. The Whole of the Moon, if you remember that one, by the Waterboys. And so it's highly unlikely that it would have been on in this shop at the precise time that he walked in, but he's saying he's getting more and more of these kind of coincidences. And I must say, I have had things like this in my time as well, and I've sort of been having a few sort of funny dreams here and there. Got no idea what they mean. A few weeks ago I had a dream where I was actually driving a London bus. Don't ask me why. But I could actually drive the bus, but as I drove out the depot and up the road a bit, I kind of suddenly realised that I had no idea what the route was, where I was supposed to be going, and I was sort of absolutely horrified. For some reason I already had some passengers on the bus, and I thought, I'm going to have to ask them, aren't I, where I'm supposed to go. That'll be a bit embarrassing. But luckily it wasn't too long after that I woke up. But that was a weird one. But going back to something more along the lines of what Mark was talking about with this Whole of the Moon episode. As you know, I'm an electrician now, and sort of back a few years ago, I used to do really a lot more than just sparking work. I did all sorts of property maintenance, whether it was a bit of fixing a leaky tap, sort of painting a room, whatever it might be, as well as the electrics. I wasn't too fussy. I'd just do all of this stuff. And with the electrics, you don't tend to get regular customers so much, but with that lot, you'd literally get people who would save up a few jobs for you, give you a call, and in you'd go. And then I'd just go through them, a bit like a whirlwind, and get everything sorted out for them. And I built up a collection of regular customers, and they'd give me a ring on average every 6 months. And just occasionally, I wouldn't hear from them for some time considerably longer than that 6 months. It'd be 10 months, maybe a year since I'd heard from them. And then I'd just sort of, for some reason, it just popped into my head. I'd be like, I wonder what happened to that lady there, or that bloke there, I haven't heard from them for quite some considerable time. I wonder what's going on. I hope they're okay. And then, lo and behold, literally within normally sort of 3 or 4 days, and often it would be the next day, I'd get a phone call from them, and it'd be like, "Oh, hello Tim, got a few more jobs for you. When can you book me in?" And I'd be like, what is the chances of that? It's almost like they're sending out some sort of vibe, some sort of telepathy, and I'm picking up on it. And I just thought that was fantastic. It really was good. And when sort of Mark Devlin told his story, it kind of reminded me of that. And I do get sort of these things from time to time. Can't remember at the moment any sort of more recent examples than that one, but I do get them, and it is quite mind-blowing when you do get these sort of episodes. I did promise you yesterday that I'd do a couple of videos. Well, it's only going to be one for now, because the other one I wanted to talk to you about sort of private members clubs, going into the private trusts and all that kind of thing, which I think is going to be vital moving forward, especially in light of this sort of Dan Andrews nonsense I talked about a few minutes ago. So going into the private will mean that idiots like him can't touch you with their ridiculous legislation. So it is very important. I know a lot of people in the movement are very, very interested. And I know I had a few comments from you guys that you're very interested in it as well. And I was hoping, this is the other video I was going to make, to point you in the direction of this kind of event that is happening. It is a video event, and it did say on the advert I saw for it that you've got to join, which I just presumed would mean the normal kind of sort of joining of the video conference thing, you know these video conferences, but it appears that you've got to join a membership site. So I'm not really too sure how many people would be too keen on doing that. I'm just sort of signing up to go onto a video call is one thing, sort of signing up to kind of a membership site is another. So I thought really I sort of won't bother recommending it. It's not happening I think until June, so I've got a bit more time to find out a bit more about it, or an alternative. There is an alternative I am actually going through, which is just a series of emails you get. So once I've gone through those properly, I might just recommend that instead, just to help things out. As far as private trusts are concerned and going into the private is concerned. So I think I've rattled on enough there. I've got Stand in the Park tomorrow, looking forward to that, and then when I come back I will be back to you guys with another video. But as I say, I'll leave a link to this Mark Devlin sort of program in the description box below that you can go and check out and hear him going on about little old me and what I wrote in this newsletter. Oh, and by the way, nearly forgot, I did mention my newsletter a few days ago. I'll leave a link to that as well, and it's basically just fairplaynow.net/contact, and then you just there's a form there to fill in and just say yes please in the comments box, obviously with your name and email address, and then you'll get sent through one of those confirmation things in your email which you have to click on, and then you'll get my sort of newsletter going forward. But if you've already done that, apologies that you haven't got anything through from me yet. I haven't really done anything with the email sort of side of things my end, so I'm a bit behind on that. I'm going to go and do it as soon as I've finished uploading this video, so try and get up to date on that. But feel free just to send an email requesting going onto the newsletter, and I will eventually get you on there. And I'll also send you this month's copy of the newsletter, which is the one that Mark featured. I'll leave it there. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.